welcome back to the channel. I almost missed my bus station. I'll be my bus stop. I almost missed my bus stop again this morning. As usual, I was editing Vlogmas day 17. Was it 18 video? Honestly, at this point, I really don't know. As usual, I was editing Vlogmas day 18 video and I almost missed my bus stop again. But anyway, you guys, I'll catch you later in the part of the vlog. Remember to like, share, subscribe. It's a rainy day, Omo. It's a rainy day and the cold is real. Alright, I'll see you guys later, okay? Hi lovelies, and welcome back to the vlog. Welcome back to Vlogmas day 19. It's at the close of work and I'm trying to find the card factory. Found it. Alright, so I'm in King's Lynn High Street and I just want to get a pack of cards for the boys to take for their classmates. They've received quite a number of cards and we're supposed to reciprocate. It's a British thing, I guess. But anyway, before they close, I just want to get a couple of cards. If anyone had told me the confusion that was about to set in when I entered this place, I just used to see this place and pass by, but I never thought that I would be in the store actually buying cards. Last year, I was able to escape it because my children were not so persistent with the cards, returning cards. They got cards, but we hardly returned any. But when I entered this place, which card did I not see? There were cards for teachers, teaching assistants, my principal, which card did I not see in this place? The confusion that I had to call the attendants more than once. As a matter of fact, I think I spoke to over 3 attendants just to get help. There were cards for any and every occasion you can think of. For dads, for moms, for little sister, for little brother, for baby sister, for grandma. At a point, I was like, I can't do this by myself. I had to get the first attendant. She showed me where I could get the pack of cards because I cannot be picking it one by one because all my children, both my children needed cards to take back to their schools. There were cards for everything. You can see for my mother-in-law, my sister, sister-in-law, son-in-law, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, grandmother, mother-in-law, the confusion was just too much. At a point, I just went back to the till and I told them, please, any pack of cards you have, over 10, just give me 2. Let me be going. Mama, it is well. I had such a tough time deciding on what to get. The choices in that store were just too much. I had to ask for help, so I couldn't film all the whole process. It's cool though. I hope we don't need anything before we get home because it will just be too painful before we reach our village again. But anyway, you guys, I will catch up with you when we get home.
A few moments later.
Anyway, fast forward to when we got home. In fact, from the car, I've been thinking and racking my brain on what to cook because I was just thinking of all the combinations I had, whether we should just have leftovers. But then I realized that I really don't have any leftovers in that fridge or the freezer. And then we got home. I was just checking the freezer. I saw chicken. I brought that one out because I knew we needed chicken. But then I couldn't decide what are we going to eat. I had to ask the children, I asked my husband, we could not even decide. Eventually, I saw fish in the freezer and I'm like, this one is good, let me make fish sauce. And then I thought, what do I have? Okay, I have potatoes. Let me just make fish sauce and potatoes. I was like, okay, I'll boil the potatoes and then I'll roast them. That was the initial plan. But when I started, I decided to just go ahead and peel the potatoes and then I showed my husband the gifts I got for the boys' teachers and we kind of just agreed on who would get what. I decided to go ahead and start peeling the potatoes and wash them and just cut them up to prepare them to be boiled before I roasted them because that was my initial plan. But anyway, I went ahead, washed them out and then I started cutting them into chunks. I first wanted to cut them into bigger chunks, but I'm like, okay, if I cut them smaller, it'll cook faster. So I decided to go with this size. I cut them up and I decided to just go ahead and boil them. And my plan was to roast them, like I've said for like 4 or 5 times now. But anyway, this video is just going to show me that man proposes, but God disposes. This is a classic explanation or a classic example of what I ordered versus what I got. The plan was just to boil these potatoes and roast them, so I wasn't able to boil everything that I cut up, so I just put these ones in the freezer or in the fridge. I'm going to use that to make a pepper soup recipe. I promised you guys. Someone reminded me about that in my last video, so please stick around for that. It is coming in Vlogmas. So here I am just storing my fish, pouring some water over it to just get it soft, and once it's soft I'm just going to be cutting it into strips and I'll set that aside. I think this fish is called cod, I'm not sure, but I think that's what it is. So it was really good. We got this at Farm Foods, so I cut that up into strips. I'm just going to set that one aside and then go ahead and prepare the rest of the things. I just give my chopping board a quick rinse, and then I'm going to go ahead and chop up some onions and then slice the rest. In all honesty, I feel like I should have just chopped everything or just used the half that I wanted to cook initially, because I completely forgot about the sliced one, and you see what I mean later on. But anyway, you guys, how's everyone doing? How's everyone preparing for Christmas? I'm also going ahead with some bell peppers. I'm cutting that into strips, and then I'll cut that into cubes as well. This is just going to be something I'm going to used to garnish the sauce with, because I'm using a rather unconventional method. And you guys remember my habanero pepper, the half that we used up from yesterday. And while I was cutting the peppers, Daniel brought out this broccoli and said he wanted broccoli, so this was included in as a side dish. So I took the broccoli off the stem and I just gave it a good wash, and then I was going to boil it. I'm boiling my chicken here, and this is not for tonight's dinner but for us to take lunch to work tomorrow. This one was totally relevant to the dish, but since I was making it anyway, I decided to film it. So that's what that one is. It has my regular spices in there, and I'm just covering that to boil. I'm checking on my potatoes. It still has a way to go, so I'm just going to leave that and go ahead to boil my broccoli. So in a small milk pan, I've added some water, my washed broccoli, some salt. I've topped that up with a little more water, give it a good stir, and bring that to a boil. The plan is just to boil it and blanch it, really, not to cook it all the way through. Okay, so in my large wok, I'm adding some oil, and I'm adding my onions, my chopped onions, curry and thyme. I'm just going to toast that together until my neighbors know what's up. All right, so I'm going to be adding some tinned tomatoes as well, my tomato paste. This is the one I get from Aldi. I'm going to fry that till it has bled into the oil, and then I'm adding a can of chopped tomatoes. This is what I've switched to now. I'll only use fresh tomatoes to fry eggs, and that's because these canned tomatoes kind of taste very acidic when you fry eggs with them. Okay, so I've gone ahead to add my bell peppers and my habanero pepper. I've gone to add my salt and my stock, chicken stock seasoning from Knorr. This is one I got from my Dagusta box, and once things start to splash, that's when I remember that I have an apron. I'm also using my silicone splash guard. I'm checking on my broccoli, my chicken and my potatoes, just to make sure that I'm sure that everything is still on track. I kind of forgot the potatoes at this point, and this was the point that I realized that we might be having mashed potatoes, because once I strained the water from the potatoes and set it aside to just steam, I realized that the potatoes were a bit too soft. But anyway, the pepper had reduced a bit, so it was time to add my fish, and Daniel is busy dancing disco in front of me while I'm trying to compose myself. So I realized I just had to go ahead with the plan. I added butter. I completely forgot that I was out of fresh parsley. I would have added that to this. I just started to mix the butter into the potato, and it started to really crumble. And the reason why mashed potato was not in plan, because my children don't like it. I've made it a number of times and they don't eat it. But anyway, this is what it turned out to be. The sauce has also reduced, so I just went ahead to plate everything and apply faith that these children will actually eat this food, because it came together perfectly, but it wasn't what I had in mind, and it was really good. You guys, this is my husband's portion. I'm also going to go ahead and serve the boys as well. They loved it. You guys, this is a classic example of not every disappointment is bad, because they really loved it and the dinner was good. Asha ended up taking the leftovers to school the next day. It was really good. Everyone really enjoyed it. So another by accident recipe for you guys, because it was too late. I couldn't go back. I was already filming. But anyway, it was really good. You guys should try it and let me know what you think. Later on, we just went ahead to fill in our cards. We had a list of names, first names from the boys' schools. So we just wrote the cards up and gave it to everyone. That, well, left to my children, they will give the whole school, including principal. But anyway, you guys, I'll see you in day 20.